Hello Class 3, I'm going to read Chapter 4 of Penguin's Progress today. In the last chapter we learnt about Anna and how she came to feed Otto, and the reason that was because Claudius had to go into the sea to find food for himself too after the long winter. So Anna came along and helped out with looking after Otto. In this chapter we're going to find out about the last chick, because Otto is obviously the first chick. So let's have a look at Chapter 4. Chapter 4, the last chick. Otto was so busy during the next few days that he didn't have much time to miss Claudius. As the ladies came back from the sea to feed the chicks, all the fathers disappeared one by one to feed themselves. Otto had to look after all his huddle. Often he had to huddle the chicks together when the grown-ups were still walking about. They had enough blubber to keep them warm, but the chicks hadn't yet. When they began to feel cold, Otto and Leo collected all the chicks together in a tight huddle, the little ones in the centre where it was warmest. When he had finished making the very first chick huddle of this kind, Otto noticed a chick standing all by himself some way away, looking out to sea. "Oh dear," he said to Leo. "Look, we've left someone out. I must go and fetch him." Leo looked across at the chick. "Oh yes, that's Alex. He was the last chick to hatch, so he's only a baby. We must keep him warm." Otto hurried off. As soon as he got nearer to the chick, he could see that Leo was right. Alex was just a baby. He wasn't really big enough to be off his father's feet. He looked so cold and miserable standing there that Otto knew he must get him into the huddle quickly. "Where's Daddy?" wailed Alex as soon as Otto reached him. "I want my father." "I expect he was hungry," Otto said. "Aren't you hungry?" "That's what the lady penguin asked me," Alex said. "I didn't know what she meant, so she went away. What's hungry?" Otto looked at him. "It's an asking feeling inside, but I don't expect you have it yet. So you haven't got an auntie?" "No, I haven't got anybody at all." Otto felt very fatherly. "My name is Otto," he said. "You stay close to me and I'll look after you. Come on, we must get back to our huddle." Alex waddled along beside Otto for a few yards and then he stopped. "Otto!" he wailed. Otto stopped too. "What's the matter?" "You're not a proper father at all," Alex said. "Your feet aren't big enough." Otto looked down at his feet. Alex was quite right. "No, I can't give you a ride yet," he said, "but perhaps my feet will grow in the warmth of the huddle. So let's hurry there. Come on, run." So Otto and Alex arrived at the huddle at last. Otto pushing the baby in front of him for the last little bit. He tried to push him to the centre of the huddle, but Alex wouldn't leave him. "I want to stay with you, Otto," he said, standing firmly on Otto's feet. "You can be my father now." Gusto was standing near them, and he began to screech with laughter. "Oh, Bossy Chick has a baby," he shouted. "When you're quite finished, Cheeky Chick, you can come and help me look after him," Otto said. "Come on, you keep his front warm while I keep the wind off his back." "Why?" said Gusto. "I'm busy keeping myself warm." "Because penguins, emperor penguins anyway, look after each other. Come on, put your tummy against his. That's right. Alex, this is Gusto. He talks an awful lot, but he's a very nice chap." Alex looked shyly up at Gusto. "If you talk a lot, you must be able to tell stories. I do like stories. Please tell me a story." Gusto looked helplessly at Otto. "I I've never told a story. Where do I get it from? Out of your head. I'm sure there are lots in yours. Just begin with once upon a time and carry on from there. So Gusto began. Soon Otto's worries about little Alex were over. He was so happy listening to Gusto's story that he didn't even notice how cold he was. Not until it got a bit warmer and the huddle began to drift apart. Gusto was hungry, so he gabbled the end of his last story and went off to find his auntie. "Otto!" Alex wailed. "Gusto's gone. I'm cold, horribly cold." "Yes, Alex, I expect you are. We live in a cold place, you see. You'll get used to it." "Have you got used to it yet, Otto?" "Well, no, not quite. I'm only a chick like you. You know, when we get bigger and fatter, we won't feel so cold. The way to do that is to eat. Come on, I'm going to find Auntie Anna." They found Auntie Anna, and Otto had a good feed. When he had finished, he was very surprised to see Alex come up to Anna and say, "Me too." "What's this?" Otto said. "I thought you weren't hungry yet." "I think I am now," Alex said. "Will you be my Auntie Anna?" "Well, I don't know," Anna said. "2 chicks to feed? I shall be worn out." Otto looked at her. "Alex is the last chick around here, Anna. It means that you'll have the first and the last. That's very special." Anna grinned at Otto. "All right, you've talked me into it. We'll find Alex an auntie of his own soon, but I'll feed him for the time being. Come on, little one." So Alex had his first meal, an enormous one. "There won't be much left for you tomorrow, Otto," Anna said. "I'll have to go down to the sea again. Never mind, there'll be plenty of aunts and uncles coming to feed you all from now on." "You mean I'll have to get used to somebody different?" Otto asked. "I've only just got to know you." "Well, that's how it is with emperor penguins. The grown-ups go backwards and forwards to the sea to get food for you until you're big enough to go yourselves. You'll have lots of different penguins to look after you, but you won't go hungry. Penguins look after each other." That's what Claudius said, Otto thought, but lots of different penguins to feed him. Oh well, he was a penguin. He'd have to get used to it. So class 3, have a think about all the things that Otto has had to learn and think about how he's looked after the new little chick called Alex. How's he different to Alex? We'll find out more in the next chapter.